Step closer to your screen. Actually, come a little bit closer. Welcome to this explainer. Now, usually I'm here to bring you bright, cheerful clarity, breaking down all sorts of research with tons of enthusiasm. But today, well, today is a little different. Today, we are looking at an everyday object, something you might have just casually scrolled past in an online thrift store, an antique shop, or, chillingly, something hanging right now on your very own grandmother's wall. We are diving into a deep, dark investigation of a seemingly innocent piece of art that supposedly harbors a destructive, terrifying secret. So let's dive into this. That is, if you dare.
So can a painting start a fire? And I don't mean that metaphorically. I'm not talking about a fiery debate in some freshman art history class. I mean literal, structural damage, house-leveling flames. Can a flat, two-dimensional piece of canvas and pigment just reach out from the wall and unleash an absolute inferno while you're sleeping? Well, gather around the metaphorical campfire, my friends, because the source material we are unpacking today suggests that yes, perhaps it absolutely can.
All right. Section 1. The Tearful Masterpiece.
Consider this a fair warning before we proceed any further. Make sure your smoke detectors are armed because we have to look at the man behind the misery, the Italian painter Bruno Amadio, who, by the way, also painted under the incredibly ominous-sounding pen name Giovanni Brogolin. So from 1911 to 1981, this man walked the earth, and what did he choose to bring into the world? Portraits of tearful young boys and girls. Not laughing children, not playing children, weeping, deeply sorrowful children. You gotta wonder, why? What dark forces was he channeling into these canvases? Our sources tell us there are numerous alternative versions of these crying children, and honestly, each one feels like a potential harbinger of doom, just gazing out with these wet eyes that seem to say, you know, I am going to burn your house down.
And here is the truly terrifying part. They were mass-produced, meaning they were manufactured in massive quantities by automated processes. Starting in the 1950s, Brogolin's tearful little arsonists weren't just safely confined to a single haunted art gallery somewhere. Oh, no. They were widely distributed, mass-produced. That means millions of these weeping harbingers were just pumped out into the world. They were literally everywhere. They could be in your attic right now. The sheer mathematical probability that you have been in the exact same room as a cursed crying boy is staggering. Moving right along to Section 2, The Curse Ignites.
For decades, these paintings just bided their time in living rooms all across the globe. But in the 1980s, the supernatural forces trapped within the ink and paper finally awakened, leading to this frantic, terrifying descent into total chaos. So, on September 5, 1985, the British tabloid newspaper, The Sun, broke the story. An Essex firefighter, a brave first responder who has literally seen it all, comes forward with a chilling claim. Undamaged copies of the Crying Boy painting were frequently being found right in the middle of the smoldering black ruins of burned-out houses. Everything else, complete ashes. The boy, perfectly fine, still crying. And this terror spread so incredibly fast that by the end of November, just 2 months later, belief in the curse was so widespread that the Sun had to organize literal mass bonfires. People were mailing in their cursed prints by the thousands to be destroyed in a holy cleansing of fire. It is absolutely wild.
Which brings us to Section 3. Enter Don Bonillo.
Now, just when you thought the story couldn't possibly get any darker, another layer of this sinister lore surfaced years later. Lean in closely for this one because we are about to finally put a name to the supernatural face. In the year 2000, author Tom Sleman published a book that finally identified the cursed child. His name was Don Bonillo, or as he was terrifyingly known, Diablo, literally the devil. Sleman's origin story relates this very child to a string of inexplicable fires. Supposedly, Diablo even burned down the painter Brogolin's own studio. I mean, it all connects perfectly, right? The boy, the fires, the surviving paintings, Diablo himself. It is undeniable, absolute proof of a supernatural curse at work.
Section 4. Science ruins the fun.
Look, my producers are in my ear right now telling me I am contractually obligated as the host of this explainer to present the entirety of the source material, which unfortunately includes the so-called experts and their little scientific debunking. I was having a great time, you were having a great time, but fine. Let's look at the facts. Let's contrast the majestic, undeniably terrifying legend of mysterious house fires, a boy named Diablo, and creepy, unburnable prints against a 2010 investigation by Steve Punt for a BBC Radio 4 production called Punt PI. Punt decided to team up with the building research establishment to test the curse, using science and laboratories instead of tabloid bonfires, total joy killers.
And here is what their little laboratory tests concluded. Step 1, the string holding the painting to the wall deteriorates and burns first. Step 2, gravity. Boring, mundane, completely unhaunted gravity causes the painting to fall face down on the floor. Step 3, because the prints were treated with a varnish containing fire retardant, the back burns but the face-down print is completely protected by the floor and its own chemical coating. So, it's not demonic intervention. It's string, gravity, and fire-retardant varnish. Wow, I am literally so incredibly disappointed right now.
And if the fire-retardant varnish wasn't insulting enough, investigative journalist David Clark had this to say regarding the terrifying legend of Don Benio, Diablo, burning down the painter studio. Quote, "There is absolutely no truth whatsoever to any of that." End quote. Period. No Diablo, no haunted origins, just an urban legend invented years later to sell a book. You can consider my spooky balloon entirely deflated.
But wait, just because the crying boy was ruined by basic fire safety standards, that doesn't mean the art world is safe. Our sources point to another legend under the See Also section, bringing us to a final, chilling question. Are you brave enough to search for The Hands Resist Him, also known as the eBay haunted painting? The experts might have explained away the crying boy, but there is plenty of terrifying art out there just waiting for you in the dark corners of the internet. I dare you to look it up tonight when the lights go out. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep an eye on your wall art.